Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to another premiere draft of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Without further ado, let's get into our pack 1, pick 1. We have an excellent mythic rare from the crimes bonus sheet here with Fractured Identity. So, for 5 mana, you get to exile a non-land permanent, and each player other than its controller creates a token that's a copy of it. So you exile your opponent's best threat, and then you get to play it against them. Really nasty card. The only issue with it is multicolored, so it does tie us immediately to blue and white, but this is a set with a lot of good fixing. All of these non-basic dual lands at common that you can find, so you could splash this in. It is certainly powerful enough to do so. So easy pack 1, pick 1, Fractured Identity. Here's a pretty great follow-up considering what I just said, that you can splash this in. There's a Satoru the Infiltrator. Blue and a black for a 2/3 menace, so already kind of a undercosted creature there. Whenever Satoru and one or more other non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast them, draw a card. So Satoru is really good with the plot mechanic if you're going to be casting creatures from exile for 0 mana. I guess that is still pretty narrow, whereas Mystical Tether is always going to be exceptional removal. Yeah, there is some fierce competition between Satoru and the Mystical Tether. I guess I will go for the Mystical Tether. If Satoru was like a blue-white card to where we could still be tied to just 2 colors, probably go for it and see if we can do like a plot build round thing with that. But since Satoru was like half off color, I guess I will go ahead and take the Tether, just the more consistent, more reliable card. Pick 3, now I might dive towards black with Ruthless Lawbringer just being an excellent uncommon. 3 mana for a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, you may sack another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent. So you need some cheap, expendable creatures for this. But this is excellent removal. It's particularly gross later in the game, where you can play one of black's best commons. It's a 2 mana sorcery that picks up one of your creatures from grave and gives you a 1/1 mercenary token. So you can like pick up the Lawbringer from grave and then just sack the mercenary token to destroy any non-land permanent. I think Ruthless Lawbringer is exceptional. Pick number 4, there's the Mourner's Surprise, which is perfect with the Ruthless Lawbringer, as well as just being one of the better black cards in general. So I kind of like this, pushing towards black-white as the core, splashing in blue for Fractured Identity. We could definitely use expendable creatures like Nezumi Linkbreaker to sacrifice to the Lawbringer, but these cards tend to go much later than the Mourner's Surprise, because kind of the only decks that want this are the ones with a lot of sacrifice abilities, whereas any black deck wants Mourner's Surprise. Alternatively, Take Up the Shield's a really nice combat trick, but I want to start going deep on Ruthless Lawbringer as a strategy. Pick 5, a very solid fixing with Mirage Mesa that can help us get our splash in. There's some really nice commons here as other options though. Sterling Keykeeper, Holy Cow, both being real solid creatures for their mana cost. Skullduggery being a decent trick, but I will take the Mesa pretty highly. Fix our mana well. Pick 6. Alright, these creatures are kind of mediocre 4 mana stuff, really replaceable. Townsfolk's my favorite of the 3, but I think they're all weak enough to take the blue-white duel for more fixing over those. That's an easier pick than the Mesa over the good like 2-drop creature in the last pack. Because I think those non-lands are even weaker than they were in the pack before. Pick number 7, we could splash in a Lazav as well. Whenever you commit a crime, put a +1/+1 counter on Lazav, then exile a card from a grave, make Lazav a copy of it till end of turn. I mean, 3 mana 1/4, get a +1/+1 counter whenever you commit a crime. That's already kind of spooky. We'll try out Lazav. Definitely seems fun, and we are certainly a splashy deck here. We've got 2 lands to help splash already. We're definitely playing Fractured Identity. So, some more black-white splash blue nonsense with Lazav. Pick 8. Corrupted Conviction's okay in black-white, and you've got a lot of expendable stuff. I don't think I'm going to take it this highly, because we don't have the expendable stuff yet. I think I'll take the Sterling Supplier first. It's a good top-end flyer. 5 mana for a 3/4 flyer and a +1/+1 counter, so it's 4 power and 5 toughness for the cost. You just have to spread out the power toughness. A 3/4 flyer is just really nice. The evasive threats have played quite well. Pick 9, Armadillo, Super Filler. Take the Fall is actually pretty good out of blue, but I think blue is going to be the splash here. Gigapede. Only 2 toughness on a 6 mana card is rough, but it immediately makes up for it by trying to be a 2-for-1 right off the bat, killing an opposing creature with the ETB. I think this card's fine. It is a little better with like the Graveyard Recursion. We'll take the Gigapede. Pick 10. I don't want to splash in a counterspell because you need the mana for that early, so we take the defensive removal of Fierce Retribution, which isn't great either, but is on color. Grab some nonsense we won't be playing. Oh, I will play a Vengeful Townsfolk. I'm really happy with that pickup. Pick 11. And I will be playing a Skullduggery. And a Sterling Hound, potentially. What on earth are you? Fortune Loyal Steed. 3 mana for a 2/4. I've literally never seen this card before. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. Whenever it attacks while saddled, which you saddle it for 1, at end of combat, exile it and a creature that saddled it and return them to the battlefield. So it's a flicker effect, so you can keep getting your enter the battlefield cards to go. Seems okay. I mean, 3 mana, 2/4 scry 2, that's already fine. I don't know, you need some great enter the battlefield effects for that, and we don't really have any right now. We have okay ones. If I get it with a Gigapede, that's hilarious, but it's not going to happen often. I think I'm just going to get a 2 mana 2/2 lifelink on curve that can commit a crime as well. Seems excellent. We could also splash in Tyrant Scorn for removal or take another Mourner's Surprise, but I'll take the Bloodseeker. Ooh, great pickup. Hostile Investigator from the big score. 4 mana for a 4/3. Your opponent discards a card. You get a clue. So your opponent discards a card, you draw a card, basically. Very good swing in value. We take that over Mystical Tether. A little sad about that, but hey, this is an excellent mythic. Pick number 3. The on-colored creatures are all pretty filler with Wingsmith, Muscle, and Sterling Hound, so we look to a splash of Metamorphic Blast. Complete blowout if you get to spree it for 5 mana. Win a combat and draw 2 cards. Or Tyrant Scorn, which is much more efficient, but not as big of a swing in your favor. This is more efficient and more consistent, I think, at what it's doing, but blue is the splash, so we won't have the mana for this till later in the game most of the time anyway, so maybe the 5 mana interaction's better. I'm going to go for the Metamorphic Blast here, actually. Pick number 4. There's the Nezumi Linkbreaker for a solid card to sack to the Lawbringer, but Outlaw Medic is also a good card to sack to that. It's a little more consistently decent without sack synergies. Binding Negotiation, probably also fine. But I'll go for the Outlaw Medic here. Get some more lifelink, be a little more annoying and resilient. Pick 5. So we're on Fierce Retribution, Mystical Tether, Ruthless Lawbringer, Fractured Identity. I think we're doing pretty decent on removal to where I can pass up on Journey to Nowhere. For Prairie Dog, I really like this card. 2 mana 2/2 lifelinker at worst, but it gets a +1/+1 counter every turn where you don't cast a spell. So if you're holding up an instant, or if you plot a spell, or if you just don't have anything to cast, then this card gets really good. Some other decent cards here too, but I like the Prairie Dog a lot. Pick 6, Sterling Keykeeper. That's an outlaw, and it commits crimes by doing the tap thing. Sterling Supplier is nice top end. Gigapede's fine. Muscle's really filler. I think I can just grab another 2-drop here. Get the Keykeeper. Pick number 7. We have a Lullaby for defensive removal. Thunder Lasso for purely offensive equipments. Bounding Felidar for a really expensive late game play. And Commandeer for an unplayable card. 7 mana is way too much, and 3 for wanting yourself is way too much as well. I don't think I'm going to end up playing any of these, but Lullaby's probably the most likely. We're pretty defensive looking here. Pick 8. Yeah, one of the on-color creatures. Not pumped about any of it. I guess Gigapede's a late-game crime committer with our Lazov nonsense. We got the Tyrant Scorn to come back. That's pretty sweet. Feel good about my pick out of this pack. Actually, this wasn't the pack where I took Blast over Tyrant Scorn. But hey, either way, I get a Tyrant Scorn. I don't think we'll play any of these. I don't know, maybe Bandits Hall, crime committing control is a thing. Probably not for this deck. More filler. And probably more filler until we open up our third pack. All right, pack 3, pick 1. This is a hard choice. We would have to splash double blue for Jace. And the best thing that Jace does is like the plotting things. Right? I guess a draw discard engine. This doesn't seem completely broken. In draft, it's probably pretty good, but good enough for a really, really hard to cast splash? Maybe not. Like, maybe it's better to just take Fell the Mighty, which also looks pretty nasty. Pick one of our 2/2s or something and then kill everything with 3 or more power. I'm just going to take the on-color card that still looks pretty good with the Fell the Mighty board wipe that we can control. Maybe I could Fell the Mighty with an armored armadillo on board. That would be funny. Would it be good? Probably not, but it would be funny. I don't think there was anything else in this pack that looks particularly good. It's Oasis Gardener or the Armadillo. I can't see myself keeping an Armadillo in just because of Fell the Mighty. But I also can't see myself running Oasis Gardener that likely. We're probably not playing anything out of here, so I'm just going to rare draft. I think the key to the vault's way too slow for draft, though. Especially off of the splash. Pack 3, pick 3. The Trained Erranx is a really good 2-drop. Very easy to just keep giving this first strike so it can get in, and it's super hard to block a 3-power first striker. Big fan of that card. The Desert Stew is pretty decent too. I would not hate more interaction. More removal. I'm going to go for the Erranx though. I like that it sets up your draws as well with a bunch of scrying. That's a fancy desert, the original desert. That's sweet. That is sweet. I think we just take Vault Plunderer though. Excellent value play. 3/1 on curve and you draw a card. Do lose 1 life, but definitely worth the card draw. And another Vault Plunderer. Now our Fake Your Own Death looks really good. Mourner's Surprise is also excellent value with Vault Plunderers. Take it. Pick 6. Wow, this is the pack for us. Now we get a Lassoed by the Law. Exile non-land permanent. Get a 1/1 Mercenary at the same time. Don't mind if I do. There's other great removal like Consuming Ashes here. The Bloodseeker's not bad at all. This has been an excellent pack. Yeah, now we get a black-white duel or another 2-drop with a Sterling Keykeeper. Got 5 solid 2-mana cards, though I don't think I need the 6th. This card wouldn't be bad at all, but I'm going to grab more fixing with Forlorn Flats. Pick 8 is a little bit of a miss. I think we're going to cut any of these. I'll just take the Buzzard. I'm not going to do the Bandits Hall thing in the end. Pick 9. I could play a Holy Cow. Holy Cow works really well with Prairie Dog, so I enjoy that. Pick 10. The Armadillo and the Gardener came back if we wanted them. We don't, though. We could splash in the plot half of Plan the Heist, just requires a single blue. I don't think we will, but it's the closest to getting played here. And I could absolutely play a Stagecoach Security. I think that card is perfectly reasonable as a finisher. Alright, we're at 47 cards. I don't think this deck needs a super high creature count. It also doesn't need like a super low one. I think we can cut kind of whatever we want between creatures and non-creatures. So grab some of the most mediocre creatures. Definitely Overzealous Muscle and Sterling Hound. Kind of immediate cuts. We've got a lot of stuff at 3 mana. Townsfolk doesn't do much, just a standalone threat, whereas Holy Cow gets your Scry on ETB, plus it's evasive. Plunder's immediate 2-for-1, Lawbringer's a 2-for-1. Azov is kind of similar to the Townsfolk, where it's just going to sit there getting bigger as the game goes on, but Lazov's like a way cooler version. Might be able to pop off and do something sweet with the right card engrave. Lazov's pretty cool. I think I'm going to leave Lazov in just for style points. I don't think I drop any 2-drops. We've only got 5 of them. Pretty fine running the full 5. Yeah. Cut all the mediocre creatures there. 4 more cuts to go. Metamorphic Blast, again, probably kind of narrow off the splash. Might be a little redundant to have Fake Your Own Death and Mourner's Surprise. They both do essentially the same thing. Fake Your Own Death we have to do during combat. Mourner's Surprise we do later. Get back our best creature, recast it for good ETB. But I don't know, with Double Vault Plunder and Ruthless Lawbringer, like, we have really good ETBs to do that with. Investigator as well, so I kind of like running both. Which means we have to make room by, like, maybe getting rid of a discard spell like Binding Negotiation. Maybe a small trick like Skullduggery for the big trick of Fake Your Own Death. And then our most mediocre removal out of all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them is probably Ariet's Lullaby. And then we still have 6 other removal spells, and Ruthless Lawbringer's another removal spell, Double Gigapede, our miniature removal. I think we can cut these 4. Double check our mana base here. That puts us at 13 white cards, 11 black, and 3 blue. No double blue in the deck. So I don't think we need this many blue sources. We're at 5 right now. Let's go to 4 blue sources by dropping an island and make sure that's we're doing good on white and black. So white, we have the most cards at 13. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8 white sources, and we have 8 black sources right now. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so we'll add 1 more white. So 9 white sources, 8 black, and 4 blue. Seems like where we want to be. We will call it a deck here. All right, here we have a look at the final deck list for today. We're on a black-white splash blue deck, and we have some really interesting synergies going on. So we got plenty of nice cheap creatures to trade off with in the early game, but we've got a lot of really good enter the battlefield effects. Cards like Vault Plunderers, a Ruthless Lawbringer, and a Hostile Investigator, as well as some of the big Gigapedes. So these cards are all really great cards to pick up from the grave and recast later with something like Mourner's Surprise, or to trade off with during combat and immediately re-up their enter the battlefield effect with Fake Your Own Death. So some sweet potential enter the battlefield shenanigans going on. We also have a lot of crimes to commit, so our Lazov could get super big off of the splash, just because we have a lot of removal, as well as creatures that can target our opponents, with the Bloodseeker targeting their face, the Keykeeper targeting a creature on their board, the Gigapedes targeting creatures on their boards. Plenty of crimes to commit to make Lazov super big off the splash. And for the other splash card, we have the Fractured Identity to get rid of their best card and cast it against them. It's going to be super, super nasty stuff there. So some potentially really powerful plays, as well as some fun synergies. Pretty excited to see how the deck does. So without further ado, let's head into the gameplay. All right, here we are on the play for game 1. This is some real awkward mana for a 3-color deck. I don't know if it's keepable. Of all of the cards to cast, if it's going to be the only spell you cast, something that gets benefits from not playing spells is probably one of the better options. So I kind of like that with the Prairie Dog, but like, even if I hit a black source, if Prairie Dog doesn't die, we're not casting anything for a century, because all I have is Graveyard Recursion there. We need blue-black to get the Lazov down. I kind of think I got to mulligan this. Okay, this is way better mana-wise, and it's got our best card, Fractured Identity, at the top end. The Lawbringer's a little awkward early. So maybe I ditch that, and we go Plunder into Security into Identity for the curve? I don't know, I do like having some interaction. Even if I don't have the stuff to sack profitably yet. I guess I have the fractured identity for late game removal. You know what? Sure. Just go 3, 4, 5 curve and hope that can lead us to victory. Deadeye Duelist is going to start things off for our opponent. There's our Fake Your Own Death for the Plunderer. Pretty nice. There's the 5th land towards the Fractured Identity. Nimble Brigand from our opponent. They commit a crime that's unblockable, and they can commit a crime every turn with Deadeye Duelist, so we are definitely not going to hold up blocks here. So they'll just make it unblockable and draw a card. So we have to send in the Plunderer. I doubt they're going to block, and then we cast the Stagecoach Security. Well, we plot the Stagecoach Security. But they are going to get some card draw going with that Nimble Brigand, Deadeye Duelist combo. If they don't cast any more creatures here, we might just play Sterling Supplier and Stagecoach Security. Just get a bunch of power toughness on the board to start racing. Yeah, they didn't play a creature, so here we go. They're just setting up the Loan Shark for the 2-for-1 card draw next turn. 3/4 plus draw a card. Alright, let's get going. Big board state, and we get to hold blockers up to force them to commit a crime. To get Brigand in. Boom, they are down to 11. There's the Prickly Pear for multiple blockers, and that makes the Loan Shark draw them a card. There's the Duelist, so they can draw a card off of Brigand as well. They're down to 11. I think we're sending in the team holding up the Fake Your Own Death. I could Fake Your Own Death and Fractured Identity in the same turn since I get the treasure off of it. But again, I don't see anything I really want to fracture yet. I guess I could fracture the Loan Shark, get a 3/4, draw another card if it manages to stick around here. Well, this looks fine. It's managing to stick around, so this might be the turn. Boom. Draw another card. Find another Vault Plunder. Alright, so that's decision time then. I can Fractured Identity, just a 3/4 Loan Shark, draw a card, or I can play an Outlaw Medic and a Vault Plunder and save Fractured Identity for a potentially bigger threat. I think I'm going to save the Fractured Identity then, since I hit 5 mana worth of cards to impact the board with anyway. Ooh, I have no cards in my grave, never mind. I got excited when I saw Graveyard Recursion. But my whole hand is on the board. There's nothing in grave. Except an instant, obviously. You can't recur that. Alright, Jailbreak Scheme is the play to put one of my cards back into my deck. Can still recast it next turn, but that is a little annoying for sure. I think I keep it. We're just gonna keep drawing Brigand cards. Here's the Supplier. Make a 4-power plunder, send in the 4-5 and the 4-2. Go for the kill on the stagecoach security. I think I actually killed the 3-4 so I can more likely attack with the whole board next turn. Especially because if I hit a land, this leads into Mourner Surprise stagecoach security. That could be pretty wild. Against a bunch of 2 and 3 toughness cards. There's a Razzle Dazzler. Now a second spell to get the counter on it. Yep, Canyon Crab. And a third spell, Thunder Salvo. Nice. Poke with the Nimble Brigand. They draw another card. Staying super fueled. Come on, top deck land. Let's go. They are at 4 life. They're going to have to block everything here. So we Mourner Surprise. I think I Stagecoach Security. I mean, even if I Stagecoach Security, though, right? I've got Vigilance, but then they go trade. Trade. You know, stop the damage. Stagecoach Security actually looks a little worse than a Flying Threat. We just get the Flying Threat back. One of these runs to Crab, the other one's going to clear a creature out of the way. We kill the Courser, so they're going to keep the Razzle Dazzler, try to get some unblockable lethal in. Could be scary. Okay, no, they are going to trade the Razzle Dazzler off. Cool. They plot a Wolverine. That'll let them draw a card, discard a card with the Crab. If they don't find a flyer or a reach creature, we just kill them in the sky next turn. If their only reach blockers the Duelist, and I can just kill that. Never mind. Can make it so they have 2 blockers up with either of these spells. If I get rid of the 4-2, I force them to chump block the Vault Plunder by buffing it. So we kind of kill 2 of their creatures this turn if I get rid of the 4-2. I kind of want to do it with Retribution over Identity, because I'd like to Identity the Duelist for, like, ping for lethal soon enough. Or, like, if they play a Flying Threat or something. Another way. They have to chump with one of those 2. I could set in the Medic as well to bounce off of somebody and gain 1. But then I don't have a block up if they choose to chump with Duelist and try to send in the Crab for like 4 damage. Alright, there's the Wolverine. It's a land. Another Wolverine, which hits... Okay. Hits our Fractured Identity target. Okay, land is the draw, which doesn't do anything. Fracture Identity, the Terror. Can't get in anymore. I've got the 2 mana up for the common counterspell. Alright. Try to kill them with that next turn. I guess I play the land to make it a 7/7. Feel like it is safest to hold up the blocks. They only have 1 unblockable creature. Well, I'm going to do that pre-combat so that they have less options during combat. Only have 1 of their 2 cards instead of both up. Right, one of them was a land. What is the other one? That is the question. This is lethal on board. They block 3 of it and get trampled for 4. Let's see. Metamorphic Blast, make it a 0/1 and draw 2 cards? Yikes, actually perfect. God, yeah. That is incredibly good for our opponent. Still gets -1/-1 for each card in hand, so if I drew the card in response, it would die. I mean, I guess it just dies to Duelist anyway. Well, let's see what we hit. The Zov, alright. Well, the Zov, if we commit a crime, copies something engraved to try to get the kill. But I don't have the mana for Lazov right now. Hellspur Brute for a big trampler. They're gonna go for the double ping draw card here. Just 3 blockers up. Oh my. Discard a card, draw 2. Ooh, that gives me the Investigate. Nice. Alright. Draw a card in the end step. Find Tyrant Scorn. Exile a card from a graveyard. If a creature was exiled, have it become a copy. Is there any haste creature in a graveyard? It would be in theirs if there is. Nope, none of their creatures have haste. So Lazob's not going to get any extra damage dealt this turn. If I Tyrant Scorn one of their blockers, they only have 2 blockers up, but they can still block the 2 4-power creatures and take 2 and survive. I could return my own Sterling Supplier to have a lethal flying threat coming at them next game. Or next turn, sorry. That is something. Feels like the plan. Destroy it in response with explosive derailment. That's annoying. That's actually really, really bad. Play Lazov, I can't commit any crimes. I do have to block both of my 4-power creatures, but they can block both of them with Wolverines. And then crack back with a 5 power trampler. I guess I'll have more than enough blocks at the ready. We clear out the Wolverines. And then we just really hope to draw a crime for Lazov. Alright, all in on top deck a crime for Lazov. They need more action here to kill us. They need burn and tricks and stuff. And/or I should say. That's not a crime, that's a land off the top. Rotting Sphinx. There's the crime that will be lethal. If it resolves, we can make Lazov the big flying trampler. Let's see. Oh, we exiled the flying trampler. So we have to target just any creature with 3 power. So I guess I just target my own flyer, right? Yeah, doesn't matter too much. We're just going to attack for 4. Any creature with 3 power is the pick. Set in the swing. Insanely close game of Magic there. That was a large battle. I think the only thing I can really think of that would have maybe changed the outcome of that game is if I wasn't as greedy with the fractured identity of trying to get rid of like something actually really big and really scary, just using the fractured identity to stop the duelist brigand combo would have been a big deal, because that just kept getting them so many cards. Like, this combo stuck around so long that it got to the point where they had 7 cards left when we had 17. They drew like 10 cards more than us this game, and a lot of that was from the consistent crimes of the duelist pinging us to get the brigand in unblockably. So just fractured identity in one of those 2 cards earlier, I think maybe could have made this game much easier in the end. It definitely would have played out way differently. I'm not 100% certain with our draws versus theirs at the times that we did what the outcome would be, but I think it would mean that we still win, and it's an easier victory probably if we just stopped this nonsense as early as possible. Either way, though, we do still get there with Lazov at the last possible moment. Close game of Magic to start it off. An incredibly hard-fought battle, but we are 1-0 heading into round 2. All right, here we are for game number 2. We're on the draw here. Pretty slow defensive hand, but I'm cool with it. Mystical Tether is the first real play. Hard Bristle Bandit will start things from our opponent. Uh-oh. We're going to be on the opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to the speed of our hands. They are ramping into 4 drops on turn. Well, Mystical Tether does not exile planeswalkers for some reason, so... Okay. Well... They probably got us with Oko. Just don't know, should I just exile an Elk here just to slow down the damage? I mean, I guess, like, how much else is Tether going to do? I could exile the Bandit, but it already resolved an Oko for them. I don't know. Next turn I'm going to plot security. So I should probably cash this in to buy a tiny bit of time. I'm going to choose the Elk. Next turn Oko is going to be an Elk as well, so they attack for 6. if I don't get rid of the 3/3. I'm just immediately down to 13 maximum. 12 if they want to send the Mana Dork in. No, Oko gets to be a brigand and just draw them a card here. Oh, Oko can still be an elk, never mind, because it's just minus. Yeah. I think he got me. All I can do is plot now. They hit me with everybody. I'm moving on. It would have been monumentally difficult to beat an Oko, even with one of our best curves, but with that, we just got to move on to game 3. All right, here we are on the play for game number 3. We get started really nice with this hand with Prairie Dog into Holy Cow. It's going to mean a 3/3 lifelinking Prairie Dog pretty quickly. Got another flash creature with the Gigapede, so that's another turn to buff the Prairie Dog. Plus turn 4, I'm just holding up an instant. This Prairie Dog is going to be very happy if it doesn't immediately die. Which is possible. They've got black mana up. Alright, Blood Hustler means it's not going to die. Get in there, my friend. Boom. Fell the Mighty is going to be awkward here because we're probably going to have the biggest creatures on board. A Prairie Dog and a 6/2 Gigapede. It's a Red Rock Sentinel. It's kind of annoyingly large. Prairie Dog's not big enough to attack it anymore. Okay, if they attack with Blood Hustler, it is. I can still gain my life at least. I won't get any damage in. Find a Vault's Plunderer. I like this card, but I also like buffing Prairie Dog for now. So I think I'm going to just dig for the Ambush Gigapede land. Find an Outlaw Medic. That is not the Ambush Gigapede land. Killing the Sentinel and playing Medic would be a fine turn. But I do have like a board wipe in my hand if they manage to kill the Prairie Dog. Ooh. Fractured Identity. Well, now I want to cast Fake Your Own Death just to get a treasure token. I mean, not that badly, but if I can get some value out of Fake Your Own Death, then it's worth it at this point, because the treasure token is very valuable to us as well. It's like, now I would use it just to kill one card. Oh, well, goodbye, Holy Cow. Unless they try to kill Prairie Dog, then I'm super happy. No, they play around the Fake Your Own Death. Dang it. I mean, I keep the Holy Cow around if I Fake My Own Death here. That's not that much value. I guess it's a... I'm basically spending 2 mana for a treasure token and a 2/2 flyer, so... it is actually decent value. And now... our Fell the Mighty actually looks relevant, because that's a very big Red Rock Sentinel. So we can destroy everything with more than 4 power, if we need to. But I can also just Fractured Identity it, and then not worry about the board wipe. That's pretty cool too. Can this sacrifice itself? It just sacks lands, right? Yeah. Tyrant's Scorn is the draw. So if I want to save Fractured Identity for something that might actually attack our opponent, then I can just Tyrant Scorn this thing, and I think that's probably worth it. I could return it to their hand. When is this? When Reach for the Sky is put into a graveyard, so no matter how I kill the creature, they draw a card off Reach for the Sky, so I might as well kill the creature. Because even if I bounce it, they're going to get the card draw. Even if I exile it with Fractured Identity, they're going to get the card draw from Reach for the Sky. All right, go team, go. If they have Fake Your Own Death, they can trade into Prairie Dog here, because they Fake Your Own Death, get the treasure token, make the Hustler 3 power, and then sack the treasure and use their remaining 3 lands to commit a crime and make Blood Hustler big enough. Looks like that is not the play. It is Skullduggery. Alright, well now we've got multiple ways to get the blue source. So here it is. If they commit a crime with one of these Blood Hustlers, it's a 3/3 and a 2/2. They double block Prairie Dog. I only kill one of the 2. But I think it's worth it to get them out of the way. They aren't both getting counters every single turn, because that would be a disaster. So we'll kill the bigger one. Prairie Dog, I'm sorry, but your time ends here. You did a lot of work for us, and I appreciate it. Ooh, Villainous Wealth for 4? What are you gonna get out of my deck? Ruthless Lawbringer, Trained Airings? Well, that's pretty good. Play the Airings, then play the Lawbringer, sacking the Airings. Kill the Holy Cow. Yeah, that's really nice. Well, that wasn't the right order, but that's also probably the order I would have accidentally done it in. All right. Gigapede time. I think it's Gigapede time at 38. I can wait till the end step to try to surprise kill them. That's going to be double Blood Hustler, and then we're not going to kill them. Well, no, I can Gigapede one away, and then I can Fractured Identity the other one for lethal. Maybe. It's possible. Boop one. Boop the other. Ambush Gigapede for the win. Definitely call that one an ambush. We are now 2. Are we 2-0? Thought we lost a round. No, we're 2-1 heading into game 4. Here we are for game 4 on the draw. We're pretty desperate to draw a land, but if we hit a land, then this hand will be great. And there is a land. Down to plains, and now the Vault Plungers do our digging to draw into the next lands. Ooh, and the Hostile Investigator does as well. Draws us another card off the clue token it makes. Nice slow start from our opponent, a 3/3 defender and a 0/4 defender, but that 3/3 can start attacking if they play a power 4 or greater creature. Luckily, I've got 3 1s to trade into that. There's the Giant Beavers, they can attack with the Sentry, but they do not want to attack into the Plunderer. So here's the Investigator so that I have a big enough blocker for the Giant Beaver. We are definitely on no attacks. Ooh, we got rid of the Shoot the Sheriff? I guess all our creatures are outlaws. Well, a lot of them. Show me that combat trick. They did not show me the combat trick. We get to trade our 4/3 into the 4/4. They've got the Mourner Surprise to bring it back to recast it next turn. So now we've got Mirage Maces, so we've got the blue source for the Tyrant Scorn. Let me just set up for a Fell the Mighty, destroying everything with more than 3 power, maybe? I don't know, I'm gonna crack the clue here and play my 2 mana 3/1. If they put a +1/+1 counter on the sentry, then it might be worth it. Killed 2 cards with the board wipe. I guess they can't put another counter on the board yet. They have to attack with Beaver again. Alright, land 6 for Gigapede. Or I can plot the security and hold up Tyrant Scorn. I don't even think Gigapede looks that great on this board. It looks fine. I'm just gonna go plot, hold up Scorn. Patient Naturalist, that's a 2/3. What if I Fell the Mighty and destroy everything with more than 1 power? And I Tyrant Scorn my own Vault Plunderer before I do that. That could be pretty good. Especially if they put another counter on their Tomb Trawler. Oh, they're not going to put a counter on the Tomb Trawler. Dang. Alright, well that's 5 damage. Again, unless I want to kill the 2/3 and the 3/3 and the 2 4/4s. I guess it's just a 2/3 and 2 4/4s now. Yeah, I guess now I could just Tyrant Scorn the Tomb Trawler and then Fell the Mighty, the Giant Beaver, and the Bristlepack Sentry, and that's a fine 2-for-1 removal spell. I don't get the super clean full-on board wipe or anything, but it'll be fun. Oh, no way. Abrupt Decay in response. Well, that's a nightmare, but I've got a 4/5 blocker against their 4/4 attackers, so they don't have great attacks here. Actually, I guess they have decent attacks. Because they buffed the Sentry up, they can now send in a 5/4 Sentry, and I have to trade into it. If they send in something where I have to trade into the Giant Beaver, that's like fine. But they're mostly playing off the top. We still have a ton of value. Ooh, they're letting me kill the Beaver? Snap trade. Patient Naturalist, alright. Gigapede time. Have the Gigapede trade into a 5/5 and kill a Mercenary. Feels good. Unless they really want to play around Gigapede to where they're only attacking with a 2/3 because of that. Solid 2-for-1 from the Gigapede. They're down to a 2-3. We've got a bunch of cards, about to get more. Let's plunder it up. Kind of want to play the lifelinker, but I also don't really want to mill myself or my opponent. But it's probably better to mill myself just because they have graveyard value being in Golgari. But I definitely wanted to play that lifelinker, so we have a 3-3 lifelink on attacks now. That is huge for stabilizing. Now we can try to flip the script on them here. Get in the aggressive lead. All right. Oh. Well, that's broken in half. Why? Yeah, that's a card you could put into the set. It's 8 mana. But it does just straight up say, oops, you win the game. But that is what 8 mana cards tend to do. They're your payoff for making it 8 mana. Did you make it to 8 mana? Yes, you win. Destroy your opponent's whole board and draw a bunch of cards. That was a 6-for-1 against us. Killed 3 of our creatures and drew 3 cards. Ooh, that is large. Spinewood's Armadillo, 7/7 reach board. Yeah, why not at this point? Just slam everything out. I was going to Mystical Tether at instant speed, but I can't against the ward, so... Sorry, Prairie Dog, I kind of need to kill a 7/7 here. Don't really want to sacrifice you to do it. So you don't get any counters this turn. Map the Frontier does nothing right now. Down to 7. I mean, I just trade with the Ankle Biter and go to 9. So I just try to have a 4/4 lifelinker on blocks and hope they don't... Oops. Hope they don't have removal. Oh, could I double up that ability? I could probably have doubled it up. Oh, Jesus. Let me read how it's worded here. If you would put one or more counters of creature have many +1. Yeah, you can double it up. I could have spent all 10 mana and had a 5/5 Prairie Dog instead. Not that that matters against the 12/12 elemental they just top decked, but hey. Ooh, well, would matter now that we drew Lassoed by the Law. That's actually a really good draw here, because that gets the Lawbringer active to send the Prairie Dog in. Actual perfection. Off the top. I do wish I double activated Prairie Dog, I just didn't know... 2 things, I didn't know that we had the mana to double activate it, but I also didn't know if it would work. Oh. Pillage the Bog. Loot the top 24 cards of your library. Put one into your hand. Alright, well, Demonic Tutor has arrived. Grab the best card in their deck, which is probably just removal for Prairie Dog now. And then we're back to dying slowly. How many cards left? There's only 9 cards left in their deck. It's not likely, but it's possible they're out of removal. We've already been through 3/4 of their deck. There's got to be something quite solid in there no matter what. Looks like probably Graveyard Recursion. Oh yeah, Back for More is completely backbreaking. It's removal and the biggest threat they've played all game at the same time. Well, hey. Fractured Identity is certainly something. Not going to get through the Ankle Biter. But our great draws continue. Does it have any other text on it? No. Just discard it for mana fixing. That is a really good discard ability. You gain 3 life when you do that too? Well, if nothing else, maybe our opponent can mill out. Probably not, though. They'll have the Graveyard Recursion to bring back their Tomb Trawler, and if they get the Tomb Trawler, we're so dead. Because they can just set up the perfect cards in their deck for the rest of the game. Ooh, yep, Lockpicker and just cast Back for More again. Seems like a good draw. We've both been drawing just insane stuff past several turns in a row. We're gonna go for the Tumbleweed. Alright. I guess because they don't have anything big enough for the Back for More to actually kill our 7/7. So they're just gonna get the 13/13 instead. Holy Cow can start poking them for 2 a turn in the sky. Not that that's enough. It also scries. Gains me the life to choose not to block here. Scries of Plains to the bottom. We crack back for 9 on board. Could draw into lethal if they have nothing, but that is much more than nothing. That's a chumper and life gain, and we hit land. So now, if they don't chump block my 7/7, I can't attack, but if they do chump block it, then it's good to attack with the 7/7. The only way that we know we survive another turn is by not attacking, so that I can block 2 of their attackers. But if I'm playing that way, I only have 11 cards left in the deck. I've got a Gigapede, Mourner Surprise, Fake Your Own Death, Sterling Keykeeper, and Fierce Retribution. I don't think there's a single chain of draws that can win me the game if I just go double chump block next turn. But I guess it's not double chump, right? It's Holy Cow chumps the 13/13 and the 7/7 blocks the Oasis Gardener. Or they don't attack with Oasis Gardener, so I just jump with Holy Cow. Yeah, I don't know. If they just don't block the 7/7, I'm dead this turn anyway. Alright, and they top decked removal, so it literally didn't matter. Massive overthink. Cool. Why would you do that? That's so rude. Imagine if I had removal in hand. What a rude way to attack there. Alright. Well, I guess if they attacked with all 3, if I had removal, I'd go to 1 anyway. Yeah, never mind, that's fine. 3-2 or 2-2? I'm actually not sure. It's been some long games. is 2-2 for now, heading into game number 5, hopefully. Grabbing at least one more victory here so we can get a 50-50 run here, but if not, we've had a couple real high win rate runs these last couple drafts. 6 and a 7 in a row. See what we can get here, heading into game number 5. Go ahead and snap keep this one. Can try to get a really nice Fell the Mighty board wipe later. We've got the Tyrant Scorn nice and early. There's the 1-power creature to target with Fell the Mighty. Definitely not going to Tyrant Scorn a 1-2. Gold Pan. They're going to make it a 2-3 and get some fixing for whatever bombs they've got. Let's start drawing some cards. Team Vault Plunderer, let's go. Lonely Arroyo. Get a blue-white dual land. Well, we already had perfect mana, so now we just have perfect mana. I'm gonna keep drawing cards, I guess. Hypothesis, I'll draw 2, kill one of our plunderers by discarding a card. Or they could just choose not to discard a card. They are going to discard a Tornado. Big Quill Charger, that's a 5-4. If they saddle it up, it's what, a 6-6 menace now? Large. Okay. I could drop Sterling Supplier, make a 4-power Vault Plunderer, and start swinging. I don't hate that. Come on in, Quill Charger. Welcome to my face. Another one? Another one. Well, Fell the Mighty for power greater than 3. Can also Tyrant Scorn bounce plus Lonely Cow on the defensive. Or Lonely Cow, Holy Cow. I don't know where I got... Oh, Lonely Arroyo. Never mind. I don't know where I got Lonely Cow from. He's all alone, and there's no one there beside him. Alright, well, the race is on. They're down to 8. Let's see. I'm going to try the Holy Cow Tyrant Scorn race here. Like, surprise gain 2 plus surprise bounce their biggest creature is ruining the combat math quite a bit. Send in for 10. Send in for just 6. Alright, no block. Down to 6. Scale Storm Summoner. Alright, let's Holy Cow. Gain 2, scry 1. Find Mirage Mesa that I'm not interested in. Then I can Tyrant Scorn. I can blow up their Scalestorm Summoner. I can bounce my own Vault Plunderer. If I blow up the Scalestorm Summoner, they're going to be forced to chump. And if I top deck removal, they're dead. That feels pretty good. There's not a chump, it's a trade, but still. Mortar Surprise, we don't have anything in grave, do we? We've got a Vault Plunderer. Alright, well, send in the team. And I can have plenty of blockers to cast after this. Plus they have to trade into the Vault Plunderer or cast a removal spell to not die in the first place. Okay, so they're just straight up dead to flyers next turn. Kind of like just Fell the Mightying the 5/4 then. Yeah, let's just Fell the Mighty the 5/4. Be super safe here. Ooh, that was fancy. Metamorphic Blast to save the Quill Charger. Make it too small to die. Well, we play our chump blocker. If they buff that with Deputy and saddle it with another creature, it's still not going to be lethal. So I'm not worried about them getting like a Menace kill here. It would be 7 damage if they give it Menace and Deputy it up. Okay, 7 damage it's going to be. 7 is not 8, and we kill them on the crackback. That was a super close game. But we barely get there in the end. We are now 3-2, guaranteed at least a 50-50 run as we head in around 6. All right, here we are for game 6. We got our Prairie Dog starting things off. It's not the greatest Prairie Dog hand ever, though, because we kind of do want to follow it up with these other spells. But our mana looks excellent. We've got plays throughout the curve. It is still a definite keep. Ooh, we've got the Mourner Surprise, Ruthless Lawbringer combo. That's always great. Start with our Prairie Dog. Now that we have a Fierce Retribution to hold up, it wouldn't be the worst to just pass turn with Prairie Dog on board. We just Retribution on the crackback. If they want to go for the crackback. And I could do 4 mana worth of spells next turn. Alright, they're just going to get a treasure token from the Dredger. It's triple red. 1 black source, 1 mana of any color. Terminal Agony, rude. Blow up the Prairie Dog. I'll go ahead and blow up the Treasure Dredger. Alright, now we Mourner Surprise and replay the Prairie Dog, and now I have the expendable creature for the Ruthless Lawbringer whenever we want to do that. Okay, we want to do that right now. We want to do that right now. Laughing Jasper is going to cast a bunch of cards out of our deck. I mean, we saw it earlier today. It's a super spooky card. I could have gotten 1 more damage on... I am dumb. We could have used the Mercenary's ability before we sacrificed it so that the Prairie Dog would hit for 3 this turn. That was poor sequencing. But it's still pretty good to blow up Laughing Jasper. There's a Scalestorm Summoner. Okay. Just want to keep curving out here, right? I guess I could Plunderer and tap one of their cards in the same turn. Pretty good too. But let's just get the curve out here. They're going to trade with Keykeeper, buy some time. Against black, I'm going to hold on to this swamp. There are some playable discard spells. The main one making us discard a card, and it lets them draw a card as well. Ooh, plot? Aww, I was really excited. I was like, they're going to not impact the board this turn? It was one of the plot cards that does impact the board, though. Stagecoach Security, a pretty huge draw. It's a ton of damage. And another big threat to attack with next turn. They're at 5 life. They can play at least 1 blocker this turn, but they're going to need 2 to survive. That is a blocker. It's a chump blocker with a mercenary. Cool. Oh, hello, Ambush Gigapede. Try to get lethal on board, or we can wait for them to try to do combat tricky things and then blow that up. Yeah, their blocks already aren't great. Let's just send them with everybody and see what kind of instant they're planning on and see if we can interact with that with Gigapede. Yeah, this is super, super fine. Actually, if this all resolves, we put them to 1 and then we make them draw a card off Vault Plunderer. Actually, more than fine. That's super fun. Yeah, I'm gonna let that happen, because then I get to try to kill them with Vault Plunderer. Let's go. Let's go, Vault Plunderer. You draw a card. And that is game. We are now 4-2. Positive win rate out of this run. Breaking even on gems. Sweet stuff heading into game 7. All right, here we are for game 7. Incredibly unkeepable hand mana-wise. Well, we do play turn 2 Bloodseeker. Blue source gets us to score and white source gets us to everything. I probably should still mulligan though. Okay, this is slightly better mana. But white is one of our main colors and we don't have that, so that is awkward. But I do really like Lazov into Hostile Investigator as a curve out. That's pretty sweet. I'm almost definitely supposed to play this turn 1, but I am greedy. This is another crime for Lazov to get another counter with. There we go, it might work out. Play this on turn 5 tapped. We go Lazov, then Investigator, then Arroyo. There's a Vault Plunderer, but I'm going to start with Lazov here. Well, that's suspicious. I think I'll take the damage. Oh, we have a Fractured Identity coming up? Well, now I want to make sure I have Fractured Identity mana next turn, so we're going to go Vault Plunderer over Investigator as the crime. Or as the creature, using the Arroyo as the crime to get the tap land out of the way. Trick shot. Alright, just kill Lazov, fair enough. 2 in the sky. They have 2 cards in hand, let's make them ditch one of them and drop the Forlorn Flats. I'll trade Investigator for Wine Raider if they send it in. And got all of its ETB value just like the Vault Plunderer did. Oof. Explosive Derailment is quite good there. Well, shoot. Now I have to cash in removal to stick around. Stop top decking removal, please. Really gonna have to Fractured Identity a 3-2? Kind of. If I don't, trading a 3-1 and a 1-1 into it. I'm gonna go for double trade. Buzzard. Wow. That is a really sad Fractured Identity. I knew it. I was like, literally, whenever I cast Fractured Identity this game, they're going to play the way better card to turn after I cast it. If I cast it earlier, they would have just top decked the Hustler earlier. That sucks. Alright. Well, once again, it would have played out best to just throw this out immediately. But the fact that they hit the life drain card literally the second I couldn't wait on it any longer is so rough. Because now we're just dead to Blood Hustler. This would have been such a good target for Fractured Identity. Biggest underperformer goes to Fractured Identity. It's good. It's definitely good. But man, has it been a blowout. Just the way that it's lined up. Now we're straight up dead. They drain us for 1 and attack with everybody. I could fell the Mighty targeting a 1-power creature, but then they still have 3 power on board off of Blood Hustler's ability. Plus we're only at 2 life anyway off that ability. Our opponent is playing it like wildly safe. We could be dead like 2 times over. A ton of different ways. But it doesn't matter because nothing we do here changes the board really. Just play a Longbringer, they drain us twice with Hustler. Yep. They go for the slower, safer lethal, but it is lethal nonetheless. Oh, they just wanted to troll me with Calamity. That's why they wanted to wait. Alright. Good beats. 4 and 3 it is. Little bit disappointing. I thought this deck was pretty solid, but after we went through the gameplay, I definitely see a lot of flaws in it, so I think 4 and 3 is probably still a reasonable showing for this. I was just a little more excited about this deck before we got things going. I think I was really just overexcited about Fractured Identity. I think that was a massive underperformer here. There were just a lot of positions where the best we could do with this thing is like get rid of their 3-2 and play a 3-2. And, you know, if I had just bit the bullet and done that earlier in 2 of the games, it would have played much better. But still just okay instead of just like an unbeatable bomb kind of thing. I'm just so used to the majority of games in this format there being really ridiculous creatures hitting the board, and it just felt like whenever we drew Fractured Identity, that was just conveniently not happening. So big bummer for the Fractured Identity. Again, not because it was like super bad. It's not like a massive underperformer because the card sucks. It's just a massive underperformer because I thought it was going to be incredible and it was only good. So that I think I was really hoping was going to do a lot more and really taking that into account when I was rating this deck's power level, and it just wasn't that great. Also the Lawbringer, we didn't have the most cards to sacrifice to it very well. Like, yeah, we got the 1 token from Mourner's Surprise, but outside of that, there's like an Outlaw Medic. Everything else is kind of like not that expendable. You know, 2/2s and bigger are not the greatest cards to sack to this thing. So Lawbringer was a little bit of an underperformer as well. Biggest overperformer probably does go to Gigapede. It was pretty dang good, I think, every time we cast it. And I'd never considered this to be something that I would be all that interested in picking up. And honestly, it would be something that I would cut most of the time in other formats, but I think it's pretty decent here. I did not hate that at all. So, yeah, still an interesting event. Still a decent win rate here at 4-3. Not bad at all. Was just hoping for a little bit better, but some solid average stuff. We get to leave with our gems all intact, ready to play another draft. I think we take those. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.